Hey friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I've been spending some time with the all-new 2016 Scion IM. This is one of the first new vehicles from Toyota's youth brand in a very long time, so it's very important to them. So what is it? Well, you can oversimplify it a little bit and say it's simply a Toyota Corolla, but a 5-door. So if you like the Corolla in the way it drives, its value, its reliability, this is a car that you can almost sort of interchange in your mind, but has the versatility of a hatchback and its own unique styling. And the best part is today we're test driving both a manual and a CVT automatic. While I mentioned the Toyota Corolla, the Scion IM is technically a Japan domestic market model known as the RS. It does share a number of architectural traits with the Corolla, however, its sheet metal is all its own. The 5-door hatch is comparable in size and scope to the Ford Focus, Mazda 3, and Forte 5 from Kia, and has a starting price of just under $20,000 for both the manual and the automatic version. It comes standard with a number of upmarket visual items like 17-inch alloy wheels, auto-on projector beam headlights, a body color aero body package, and LED daytime running and tail lights. It also has power folding side mirrors and a backup camera standard. Our testers both came in bright shades. The manual transmission car was Electric Storm Blue and the CVT automatic Barcelona Red. Now, if you prefer more subdued colors, the IM also comes in the standard shades of black, white, silver, and charcoal. While the exterior is all its own, the cabin is a spitting image of the Toyota Corolla, save for a number of trim elements and switchgear. In fact, the quality and aesthetics of the controls, buttons, and switches is a bit of a step up. Scion IMs all come one way, black with cloth seats. You get white accents in the stitching as well as a piece of soft trim across the dash panel. There's a 4.2-inch information display in the instrument cluster, and the steering wheel has all the expected audio and infotainment controls. Its manual adjusting seats are indeed comfortable and supportive, making long drives no problem at all. The cloth has a nice look and feel, I thought, and appears to be sturdy enough to wear well over time. The center armrest with storage underneath was a nice touch, as was the handy phone cubby on the center console. Rear seat passengers have adequate space for legs and headroom. It'll seat 3 across, but that would be a bit snug. Those seats of course do fold down for a flat load floor in a 60-40 split, and underneath that floor is a spare tire. Overall, the cabin is put together with reasonably good materials and fit, but there's no mistaking this for an interior of a luxury car. It has soft touch trims, but still a lot of hard tap-tap plastics and still feels basic. Overall though, it earns 4 of 5 stars. Standard infotainment here is a 7-inch display audio system sourced from Pioneer. It has an aftermarket-like look and feel with its double-DIN mounting format, yet its menus and workability are virtually identical to Toyota's other models. Audio quality from its 6 speakers is what I call adequate, leaving audiophiles with the need to replace the system entirely, but the good news is, you easily can. This brings us to scoring the technology, which comes in at 4 of 5 stars. Under the hood is the same 1.8-liter Valvematic 4-cylinder engine found in the Toyota Corolla Eco. It has 137 horsepower and some pretty impressive fuel economy numbers from the EPA. Different from the Corolla though, it's available here with a 6-speed manual transmission in addition to the CVT automatic. From this engine isn't exactly what I would call sporting. It's really more, adequate. Adequate meaning it's enough power for everyday driving. It's enough power for most of the people who are going to buy this car, but it certainly is no sports car. Not what you call fast. Making it feel a little bit more sporty than the CVT though is this manual transmission. Shifting it, well, it gives you that feel and control that some people just like to have. I like to have it. Now it's shifting, it is a little bit rubbery in feel, the shifter. Its throws are a little bit long, nothing that can't be helped with an aftermarket shifter, but combined with a pretty soft clutch take-up, it's just pretty easy to drive overall. So if you were buying this car for a commuter, this isn't a bad manual to have if you have a lot of stop and go traffic. Fuel economy for the manual Scion IM is rated by the EPA at 27 mpg city, 36 mpg highway, and 31 mpg combined. In my time with the car, I achieved 33 mpg combined. For those looking at the CVT automatic, you'll find this one a bit more interesting than many. It's what Scion calls CVT-IS, which means it has a sport mode and the ability to offer up a simulated 7-speed shift point set.
So with the CVT, you do have a manual shifting capability, but it's very soft. You don't get the true impression of a shifting. It's almost more of almost a sound. The engine's actually revving and you hear it, but you really don't feel a shift. But it does give you that, you know, if you really want it. You can downshift coming into a corner, then upshift. So it does work in some ways like a regular automatic. Now, if I put it over back in drive, considering it's in sport mode, and gun it, it does simulate a regular automatic transmission. So if you don't like CVTs and you want an automatic, this isn't a terrible way to go. It's a good compromise between the lack of ratios which a regular automatic offers and therefore less fuel economy, and the CVT. Now, if you just put it in regular drive and don't use the sport mode, you do get that leaf blower effect that CVTs usually offer up, but this is one of the better ones on the market, I have to admit.
The CVT-equipped Scion IM is rated higher than the manual transmission model at 28 mpg city, 37 mpg highway, and 32 mpg combined.
When it comes to fuel economy, the CVT is really the champion of these two cars. The CVT rated at 32 mpg average, and during my week of testing, I actually got 36 mpg with this thing, and that is a combined city highway average. This thing does phenomenally well on the highway, which is really what gets us there. And my mix of driving here has been about 50-50 city and highway.
This brings us to scoring the powertrain, which, while very efficient indeed, doesn't really match the messages sent by the car's marketing and styling, which says sporting. Instead, this powertrain says economy car, but still earns a respectable 4 or 5 stars. In the chassis department, the Scion IM differs from the Corolla in one key area. Instead of a bargain basement torsion beam rear axle, it has a fully independent double wishbone design, which is meant to offer up a more refined feel.
Now, when it comes to handling and the overall ride and drive, this is middle of the road Corolla all day long, and that means it's got a pretty soft suspension, it's got a very soft feel, which means it rides well, and it rides relatively quiet for a car in this class. But what it's not doing is giving me a really sharp kind of feel like you might expect, let's say, from a Volkswagen GTI or a Mazda 3. It's a lot softer. When you lay it into a corner, you really feel it sort of soak into that curb, and that's a combination of tires which aren't super grippy and the softer suspension. So it looks sporty on the outside, but it definitely rides and drives a little bit more like a regular Corolla sedan.
So, while the thing has the hardware bits underneath to make it a sharper and more sporty car, in the end, its tuning and driving character again falls short of Scion's imagery. Thus, in scoring its chassis, it comes in at 4 or 5 stars. Like the Toyota Corolla, the Scion IM, for the most part, is well put together inside and out. In testing both cars, I couldn't fault the build quality much, nor the fit of the interior and exterior body panels. It does still have a basic economy car feel, though, that puts it square in 4 or 5 star territory for quality feel.
Rounding it up for the Scion IM, I have compared this car to the Toyota Corolla quite a bit, and that's a fair thing because it shares a lot in common with the Corolla, both mechanically and in its styling, particularly inside where you really see the similarities. And where it's also very similar to the Corolla is how it scores out in the different metrics that we've tested, and you saw that. It's not necessarily class leading in any one area, especially when it comes to handling and overall performance, but one area it does shine very bright is fuel economy. You got 33 mpg with the manual and 36 with the CVT automatic, and in both cases that's higher than the EPA promise, so that's a very good thing. Now when it comes to value, Scion has what they call their monospec program, which means they only have one trim level that's very well equipped for a low price, and here that price is about $20,000, give or take, whether you get the manual or the CVT. If you want extra options, you can add those at the dealership. So what they do have here, I think, is a pretty well-rounded, put-together package for that price. There are one or two things missing, and there are some options you can't get here, but overall, I give it a value of 4 stars. So when you put that together with everything else we've talked about, we're at 4 stars for the week. I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Well folks, if you like the test drive you just saw, click on the link right there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We test drive 1, sometimes 2 cars every single week. Plus we have a new video almost every single day. So there's always something new. So stay tuned.